Well, good morning, everybody. What a nice morning here in Phoenix. Summer's coming though. I think today, yesterday was about 97 degrees. But you know, it is what it is here in the desert. Almost dropped you. Oh my God. If I would have dropped you guys, you would have been upset. But anyways, we're starting a 3-day trip today. Gonna do things a little bit different. It is bid time for our airline and probably every other airline out there. So what I'm going to do is kind of highlight a little bit of the bidding process and all that good stuff. Our trip today goes, we overnight in Portland and we overnight in Boise, a long overnight in Boise, a short overnight in Portland, which is fine. I love Boise. Let me grab my jacket and let's go.
I get to it first, I got you mad. I guess that when I get to it last, get it that I'm never going back. Get it that I'm never going back. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Get it that I'm never going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up.
All right, guys, here in the cockpit. It's an AM. Yeah. Our schedules are broken down into AM and PM schedules. That last trip that we flew, it was a pretty early one, 5:35 AM local showtime, in base, originating here in Phoenix. Typically the PM schedules start anywhere from, like, the early PMs are about 11 and they extend all the way out to, I've seen 6 o'clock in the evening. So when I'm doing my bids, I'll bid either an AM or a PM schedule, depending. You know, we had Cancun last month. I sacrificed and I jumped on that AM grenade. I am a PM guy normally. So on this bid cycle, I'll probably look at more of the PM schedule, unless the AM schedules are kind of like today. We showed about 7:20 local time, which isn't too bad. And as Phoenix starts to get hotter and hotter during the summer season, I tend to kind of migrate over to, if I can stay on the West Coast, I'll do AMs. So that's it. I'll show you kind of the bid software we use to do our bidding here in the next stop or so. And just like that, welcome to Boise. Well, the first day, I'll just kind of give you a summation. We've seen kind of how we set up the cockpit and all that good stuff. I figured we'd do something a little bit different. We'll talk about the bid software, but the first day was actually pretty busy. You know, recently I've been doing a lot of those long legs, you know, Cabo to Phoenix 1 leg, or out to the East Coast with 2 legs. So yesterday we did 4 legs up and down the coast, and then overnighted in Portland. We had a short overnight, about 12 hours. Woke up earlier this morning and then flew 2 legs to Boise, which was just in Oakland, Boise. So pretty good, easy day. Those are the kind of days I like. Tomorrow we'll pay for it again. I think we have another 4-leg day, and we'll talk about that here in a sec. Anyways, bidding. What do pilots do to bid for their schedules? You guys have seen I've had these Cancun overnights. Lately it's been fantastic. We've had 24 hours. Well, in order to get those Cancun overnights, I have to submit a bid. Now, what a bid is basically a pilot schedule that they get for the month. Today is the 6th of April, so I am bidding for May's schedule right now. Now, our bids are broken up into 2 primary bids, right? There's a primary bid, a line bid, and then after that, there is the secondary bid, what we call a blank line. All right, so the primary bid is basically everybody bids a schedule, you know, Monday, Friday, whatever you guys want to work. And then say you have vacations, say you have military leave, training, all that kind of good stuff. Those trips get pulled whatever week that you're either on vacation or training or whatever's going on, they'll leave. They'll pull those and they'll put them into a separate pot, and then they'll construct lines out of those. And that's typically called the secondary bid, or in our airline, it's called a blank line bid. So what you can do on the primary bid is bid for these blank lines, because there is a separate bid list for that, and I'll show you that here in a second. So you can just bid blank lines, and typically those go kind of junior. So you get almost a little bit of boost in seniority if you bid blank lines. Like, for instance, at my seniority level, I've been here almost 10 years. If I bid a blank line, I would be typically in the top 3, if not the top blank line bid. But then again, you're bidding trips that have kind of been broken up, you know, different weeks of vacation, they throw it all in, they construct lines. So they may not be a pure line, pure meaning, you know, like you're starting on Monday and working Tuesday and Wednesday. So those 3 days starting every single Monday through the month. Typically they're kind of scattered about, and there'll be 2 days followed by a 3-day, you know, followed by a turn maybe. So they're kind of all over the place. But again, if you're junior, they're awesome. I'll be living that life here when I upgrade. Most likely, you know, I'll be on reserve as a captain, and then my first taste of having a real line would be the blank line. So I'm going to be living in that world here. Well, hopefully not too much sooner. So. All right, guys, we've talked about the primary and the secondary bidding. So the primary bidding opens on the 4th and ends on the 9th. We typically get our schedules after that, after the 9th, right around the evening time or so, at least in Phoenix. And then if we bid a blank line, we'll find out what number we are on the blank line list. And that, when the blank lines get constructed, that's our seniority for the blank lines. Now, talking about the primary lines, when the lines come out on the 9th, that's when I'll know what kind of schedule I get. So there's several ways to bid our schedules. One is bidding with our company via our company employee site. You could go on there and manipulate lines and rack and stack what days you want to work, what days you don't. There's also a thing called CrewBid, which is what I use. It's a kind of a third-party app that we use that easily sorts lines. And then there are several other apps that you can use as well, that being the third. So actually there's probably only two. So you could bid with a company or you could bid on one of these third-party apps. I choose the third-party app just because it's easier for me. All right, let's talk about this third-party app. Again, for this example, I'm just going to use CrewBid and show you guys kind of what it looks like. And this is what it looks like. Basically, here are the lines that come out. You know, this is line 1, line 2, line 3, and so forth. And you have these options here. I typically turn them off. ETOPS, blank lines, as we talked about, being the secondary lines. You have reserve, you have non-CONUS, and you have CONUS US. So if I wanted to just fly non-CONUS, I can pull those up, and if you look, not necessarily every trip will be a non-CONUS trip. Like this one is all domestic. Somewhere in there, like this one, it'll go San Jose to Phoenix, Phoenix over to Cabo, and then back to Phoenix. So even though you're not overnighting in Cabo San Lucas, it will list it as a non-CONUS trip. So the only way to find out if you have an overnight in that location is to see it on the line, the identifier there. And as you can see on this, none of these lines have a overnight in a non-CONUS destination. But if we look at line number 4, it has a Cancun overnight. Let's take a look at that. So for this, for example, you go to Cancun several times. Actually, it's a really, really heavy international trip. Phoenix, Cancun, and then you go back to Houston. From there, you'll overnight Houston. The next day, you'll go to Cabo San Lucas, and then back to Houston, most likely changing planes, and then going to Cancun for an 18-hour overnight, almost 19-hour overnight. That looks pretty delicious. And the last day you go back, to Phoenix. As an example, that would be one of the non-CONUS trips that I would look for, and to make sure that it is an overnight, I look for the CUN, the Cancun overnight on that. You can go through the list here, several different trips on the list. And here you got a couple. So if I didn't want to work the weekends, I would just take the weekends off, maybe even Friday off, and then just sort that way. I can also sort, just want to do PM lines and mixed lines, or if I just want to do a PM line, that's pretty much it. I've already bid my schedule, so here's kind of what I have set up. So you can see lots of turns in the beginning. I'm not senior for that. And then some 2-day lines. Here, the blank lines are listed like this. So they start off at line 257, 258, and 259. So in this case, I bid 3 blank lines to be in the top 3, and then I bid some other lines. So if I, for instance, do not get into one of these top 3 lines, it'll just move on to the next grouping and see if I get any of those lines, and then I basically fill it up, the rest of the blank lines down here. All right, so the rest of the blank lines after line 259 goes to 260, and then I just fill up the rest of my schedule with blank lines, knowing that I will get one of those. So what that does for me, it allows me to bid kind of the primary lines that I want. Typically want to work weekdays, those are pretty popular. Typically want to work 2 days. or international overnights is kind of how I bid. That's the great thing about being in the airlines. Everybody is different. You may want to do international all the time. You may want the longer trips. If you're a commuter, for instance, you may bid trips that are commutable. That's another option that we have on the software. Also with vacation, because we don't have preferential bidding software, PBS, we're able to bid vacations where it gives us maximum time off. Guys typically with 1 week of vacation can turn your month into the entire month off, or at least 3 weeks off in that month. So it's actually pretty advantageous this way. That is it, guys. I hope, I know it was pretty quick, and trust me, it took me probably 3, 4, 5 months of messing it up, actually being here, before I kind of caught a clue of how to bid. It's all different. Different airlines have different ways of bidding, different software for bidding. Some have PBS. That's a whole different subject on that. But anyways, that is how I bid my lines for this airline. And hopefully, let's see what my number one draft pick is here. You gotta get that football analogy in there. My number one draft pick is doing Cabo turns every single month, and looks like it is a Cabo turn Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Monday through Wednesday there, Monday, Tuesday, and then Monday through Thursday on the last week. So there's one that isn't. Let's look at that one. It goes to Palm Springs, Phoenix, and then Des Moines back to Phoenix. So just kind of a hub and spoke turn out of Phoenix, it looks like. But that's my number one draft pick. And I am not bidding number one, so most likely I won't get that. I definitely won't get that. So anyways, that's kind of how it works, guys. If you have questions, list them down below in the comments. We'll get them answered for you. But that's kind of the quick and dirty about bidding here at my airline. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I will show you and take you along tomorrow's trip. We got 4 legs back home to Phoenix. It is nice because we're staying on the West Coast, and it's all short flights. We're anywhere from an hour and a half to 1 hour on the flight times, which you guys know I like. So we'll see you guys in the morning. I'm gonna enjoy the nice Boise overnight here. It is super gorgeous outside. And staying here at the Grove Hotel, they have bikes downstairs that you can rent. I think they're actually complimentary, so we can take a ride, just kind of all around the downtown city of Boise, which is pretty awesome. So, all right, guys, we'll see you in the morning. All right, guys, good morning. We are here in Boise, just loading up the airplane. We are heading down to Vegas today. We'll go back up to Reno, down to Long Beach, and then back home. So we got 4 legs today. Because we're in Boise, they don't have CPDLC, so we won't be able to log into CPDLC. So we had to grab it via the PDC. So the PDC message is coming up. Just another way for us to grab our clearance, and there it is. 4023 is going to be our squawk. We're at 800, 39,000 feet. The last offer, proposed off 1425. Let's see, Boise. That is basically our clearance. We got no edict, no SID. We're going to fly runway heading and maintain 16,000 feet. All right, 16,000 feet, that is set in there. And 19.6 for departure. So because there's no SID, I'll throw 19.6 right here. That's basically just as a reminder. You know how I hate getting lost in the netherworld of departure. Here's the route today. Going down to Vegas. Short flight, it's only an hour and 25 minutes heading down there. You see these turbulence plots off to the side. Thankfully, there's no turbulence plots over here. We'll grab some ride reports from the folks up at altitude. So, because it's one of the earlier flights of the day, there's probably no ride reports out there, very few. So, we really don't have an idea of what's going on out there yet. The forecast model is saying that there's no turbulence, but again, because it's the first flight of the day, we're going to check it out, make sure our flight attendants are safe to get up, and that's kind of how you roll there. But that's the route for the day. All right, we'll see you guys at Vegas. All right, guys, just got here in Vegas. Charlie 22 is our gate. Open up, we'll find out how much block we've got on this one. Just pulling up the gate right now. So, we showed you the route with basically no turbulent spots along the route. Well, it was turbulent the whole time. So we got up to 38,000 feet, it was bumpy. They said 31 was better ride. Went down to 31, still pretty bumpy. So, like I said, first flights of the day, it's a guess. They use their best guess and algorithms to figure out the turbulence. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out. So we just audible as usual and went down to a lower altitude. So we're gonna get we got a plane change. So we're gonna get this airplane kind of cleaned up, head out to the next airplane. All right, guys, we just got to the new airplane. Heading over to Reno right now. It's 1 hour en route, altitude of 34,000 feet. Like we did before, it was bumpy. So we're kind of expecting the same bumpiness on the way over to Reno. Just got to the airplane, so they shut down the IRSs. We'll go ahead and turn those back on. Back down here, sometimes we beat the position page, so we'll just pull that back up. It's been sitting, so the GPS is already fired up. I'll just go ahead and put that GPS position back in here when it asks for it. Put that side back on the route, and there we go. We'll set the IRS position, go to route, request the flight plan, and I'll just make sure that all the other switches are in their proper position by doing my flow, like we talked about from the last video with Check Airman Dave. Just gonna do my part, make sure all the switches are in the proper position just for the pre-flight. Looks like our flight plan is come up 2150 going to Reno. That looks like it. Departing on 26 right here in Vegas. Activate, execute that guy. Go to ATC since we do have CPDLC here. Put in the code of login to UKUSA. Log that in. Last part. Go to my pre-flight. Part 117 in it. While I'm here, I'll grab the digital ATIS, load that up. Part 117 in it is in. We should get information uniform. Pretty nice out there. Yeah, really nice. Altimeter is 3008. I'll just go ahead and put that in there so we're dialed in. You can tell we haven't gotten the IRS is aligned yet. The telltale sign when your attitude indicator isn't spooled up. So the airplane's gonna take a little bit to get spooled up. I'm gonna go outside, do a walk around real quick, turn on the FO lights, as we do, and just kind of get the paperwork set and head out, do a walk around to the airplane, and we'll see you here in a second. All right, guys, just got our clearance. CPDLC, like I said, ATC prompt comes up. Joker 1 Kino as file will climb via the SID. 34 and 10, we'll see the departure is on the SID, and squawk of 1051. 51. And we'll go ahead and accept it. See if we get a Roger or a Wilco today. It's a Roger today. Put that back on there. Put that on the route page. Oop, we got to clean that up. Let's see, Joker 1 Kino. Sometimes this happens because it uses a NDB. So we just basically load it up again, Joker 1 to Kino, and then with that short route, the arrival back in there is the Kino 1. Like that. And there we go. Voila. It's like magic. The first time you see that as a new hire, you're like, but after you've seen it a little bit, it doesn't scare you. Anyways, here's our departure. This is the Joker 1 off of 26, so we'll brief it up heading out there, all the altitudes and all that. The engine out, like we talked about before. Going into Reno, there's a crazy one going out. Now in Vegas, they also have not a crazy one, but there are several different points of it, right? Engine failure at V1, but below 4,000. Engine failure at or above 4,000, but before cells, and then after cells. So depending on where you're at on the departure, when you lose your motor, determines which way you're going to go. And again, like we talked about, when that happens, generally it's a helmet fire going off, so we're depending on the other guy to kind of back us up. kind of give us progressive on, okay, hey, this is what we do next. Even though we briefed it up, it won't be new, but again, you're gonna need that other person to help you out with something like this complex departure procedure with an engine failure. So anyways, that's it. 1 hour to Reno. We will see you in Reno. All right, guys, we got here to Reno. They're working on the runway, the big runway, 16 right. I should shut the RNAV to 16 left. Came off at a clock. We could turn around and into onto the runway. 16 left. A little bit shorter, but still 9,000 feet. I was able to do it. Hour 18 minutes was our block on that. Now we're going to Long Beach. That's it. Zephyr 4 Darby has filed. Climb via the SID. Expect 35 and 5. And departure frequency, we'll see the SID, 6304. Go ahead and accept that. What do you think, Roger or Wilco? It's a Roger. All right, that's up there. Oops. There we go. Get that up there. And there we go. All right, guys, here we go. Here's the route down. Got no turbulence plots. No weather to speak of. Long Beach right now. We don't have digital weather, so we'll go see what the METAR is. METAR is basically saying calm wind, clear skies, 8 miles, around 73 degrees. A very nice day in Long Beach. So that's it. We're gonna go ahead and brief it up, head on over to Long Beach, and then after that we got one more going over to Phoenix. So should be a nice quick flight, hour and 3 minutes. See you guys along. All right, guys, we're here. Delta 5. We left at a Delta 3 on the start of this trip, so that's pretty much it. Basically an hour and 2 minutes, so really nice flight. Anyways, sorry I missed the Long Beach stuff, but forgot to film. All right, guys, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.